I'm also representing the Rhode Island Medical Society here. I think what we really need here is a balanced approach to addressing the problem of addiction. And by balanced, we need public health and medical approach, and we need a law enforcement, criminal justice, public safety approach. For the last 40 years, we have had nothing of the sort. We have had, our society's approach to addiction has been predominantly, especially opiate addiction, has been predominantly criminal justice. This is a crime to use these substances, to even possess these substances. And that approach has been an abject failure. Now, I think the best approach is balanced and combined. And right now, we don't have that by any means. And what this bill is going to tip things even more towards the failed approach of just public safety, law enforcement. It sounds very simple. People are using, people are selling other people these toxic, dangerous fentanyl-like compounds, and those people are taking them and not expecting to, but dying. So why don't we just make that illegal and make the penalties so severe that people will not do that, and then the problem will go away. It sounds simple, and unfortunately it's just not simple. It will not work. The way this bill is written, it will not stop any overdose deaths, and it will incarcerate more people. Now, for the last 24 years, I've spent one day a week at the Rhode Island Department of Corrections taking care of people. So I've had a front row seat to this epidemic of incarceration. And I've seen I've met these people, I've gotten to know them, I've got to know what makes them tick, and what their hopes and dreams are, and who their families are. I've talked to their family members. I've seen them, had them overdose and die. And I've also seen them recover and get back into society, become taxpayers, become citizens, re-engage with their family, get back to work, back to school. Now we're spending $60,000 a year to incarcerate people. $60,000. And somebody just said, well, this is terrible. Isn't this terrible, this state where we have so many people that are on drugs and causing, in so much trouble. Now imagine if we just took somebody and said, hey, why don't we get you on some treatment for your addiction, get you some help with counseling mental health problems, why don't we get you some job training and get you a job, and why don't we actually take some of that $60,000 a year and pay your employer to employ you, give you half your wages, for example, and then see how well you do. Or we can just lock you up and then let you out without any treatment. You'll relapse, you'll come back, we'll spend another $60,000 a year, plus whatever the court costs, plus put the community and yourself and your families at risk. So this is very clear to me when I see how effective the treatments we have, the medications to treat opioid use disorder. This is very clear. And in fact, the governor, with her leadership and their task force, saw that and said, okay, let's support that, starting in mid-2016. And we've published this year data showing a 61% drop in overdose deaths and people getting stuck because of the governors and the people at the Department of Corrections starting people on effective treatment with the 3 FDA-approved medications. So this is quite clear. That approach works. Increasing the criminal justice penalties is not going to work. Now, a major problem with this bill is that it is going to catch people at the lowest level of the distribution network. And those are people, those are sort of small fish, those are people that are desperate. They will do whatever they can to feed their addiction. And so you can lock one of those people up, you can lock them up for life. And someone else is just going to step right in and do it. We have thousands of people in the state that are desperate. We'll be happy to do something like that in order to to feed their addiction. So that at $60,000 a year a pop, up to life imprisonment, what is that, 20 years, 40 years? We're talking millions of dollars to take one individual out of circulation who it really is not going to impact at all overdose deaths. So this is a foolish way to spend money. We don't have that kind of money in Rhode Island. We need to be smart about the limited resources we have and spend them in a way that's going to make a difference. Now, if this bill were changed so that it's not just anybody who gave any drug to somebody who overdosed, well, then maybe that would make sense. If we could take out the kingpins, these people that are really just doing this for their own profit. They're not desperate people. They're just heartless people that are trying to profit on other people's pain and suffering. Fine, but then change the law so that we would only get those people. Certain amount of money, certain amount of dealing, certain amount of volume, something like that. But this is going to fill up our prisons and jails with low-level criminals, low-level people that are predominantly addicted, not predominantly criminals, and it's going to be very, very expensive, and not going to stop any overdose deaths. Thank you.